Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Hades 2, and last time was our first time rewinding the clock to see what the new true ending is like, except a little bit of a surprise there. Turns out, no, we don't just pop right in before that final run, or even just before that final confrontation with Kronos. No, it basically resets every complete run that we've ever done before, so it means we have a whole lot more runs to do before we can see the new true ending, and unfortunately, a lot of the other subplot lines that we were trying to progress may also need to be put on hold until we get that new true ending to appear. So, not that many things we can do at this stage beyond just checking off more successful runs. Still one or two things that we can do though. So, there is a bonus bones effect on the black coat. We have, of course, done the hidden aspect, but I was thinking maybe we would use the aspect of Selene here. The reason being,
Selene.
if we go here and we take a look back at our prophecies, we cannot progress
minor prophecies.
the 3 fates until the new true ending is done. So unfortunately, that one will have to be on hold. Bearing Dark Gifts, though, we can still do this, so maybe we'll do the aspect of Medea again soon. But Born to Win, I'm thinking this could be a very good opportunity to do that while we're racking up the new round of completed runs. So this means we could go either up or down, and as long as we make it all the way there with the Chaos Keepsake the entire way, then we can get this checked off. And, I mean, that's inconvenient, but I don't know that that's necessarily all that difficult, per se. I think the main thing is just that it usually takes a really long time for this prophecy to even become available in the first place, and that may have been accelerated as of the update post-full release. I think this has to be put on hold, but there was at least one other thing that I thought we could potentially check off here, and that would be the God-Sent Favor. This is the prophecy for doing the duos with hexes. So we have all but one, the Ares duo. And just through process of elimination, I think we've basically done the duo for almost every hex. The one that I cannot recall us doing the duo for is the one that is from the Selene weapon aspect. So I assume that means that that probably combines with Ares. It is the Lance of Ares, as we see here. So I'm hoping we can get an Ares appearance on this upcoming run. And then maybe we'll just pick up a little bit of Nectar, since I don't know that we have a dire need for Nightmare in the immediate future. Whereas Nectar is another thing that we could progress a little bit, our relationships with our various friends, as we're stacking up, I should say, more of the successful runs with this new true ending. The other thing is I did slightly shift our Arcana cards here, in large part to help facilitate, hopefully, getting Ares on this run. So I threw on a little bit more re-rolling, and with the Furies on as well, I think I got rid of Eternity and or the Huntress. And there's probably at least one other thing that I've dumped here, but it seems like this is a pretty decent balance between having almost all the things that we would usually have while at the same time still giving ourselves more rerolls. Now these have not been fully upgraded, and that is another thing that we can also try to progress, is picking up enough Moon Dust, or Magic Dust, whichever one it's called, to upgrade more of these things, because that is, I believe, an achievement to max out all the Arcana cards. We talked a fair bit about this one because it is so expensive, but we would also benefit from buying some stuff to upgrade these right now. You know what? Sure, we'll do it. We'll do it, because usually we've been using most of our, well, Charon shipments, yes, but also our bones to purchase Nightmare to upgrade our weapon aspects. We haven't maxed out every weapon aspect, but we are quite close. So I think we can start to turn our attention back over to things like Moon Dust to hopefully start maxing out more of the Arcana cards, including the ones that, yeah, we tend not to use very often, and that's by and large why they've just kind of fallen by the wayside. But if we are mixing it up for this run, then we might as well upgrade here. Okay, so yep, we have enough to get both of these. That gives us one more reroll here, and one more reroll here as well. Perfect. Okay. And then, yes, we could afford this one, but I think at this point, that's not a particularly high priority, so we'll save our resources for the big one. Now, as I said, this is going to be the keepsake that I think we're going to use for the entirety of this run. So that means no extra gold, no targeting specific gods or goddesses this way. That's one of the reasons why I think the extra rerolls on the Arcana cards could be quite useful. No extra Selene support from the Moonbeam, which is a little unfortunate, but given how we already start off with a Hex with this weapon aspect, maybe that's not a huge downside, and then it also means probably not going to be able to break out. Well, we definitely will not be able to break out either of these guys on the final floor, which is something we oftentimes like to do against that big boss at the end. So, for that reason, I think maybe we go light on the fear this time round. If we were to use it, we would need to go up to 16 on the surface, which is way more than we've ever done on the surface before. And at this point, kind of just want to be confident that we can check off more successful runs so we can make progress on this new true ending, because, as I was saying, there are several other things that are on hold until we reach that threshold, like meeting the Fates and potentially some of the other character-specific plot lines. So once we get back to that point, then maybe we can get a little more experimental. So I think for now, that means no fear. We have this keepsake, which gives us Chaos Blessing, random Chaos Blessing. High rarity. We deliberately ranked this up a bit in advance of a run like this. It will change every 8 encounters, though, and that's going to be the case for the entire run. For our familiar, I mean, yeah, it could be Tula. I think we now do have enough of the Beast-Loved treats that we can max out everyone. Wait, rest? What is that?
Rest up, okay?
Huh? Oh, okay. Just was looking for the treat option and it wasn't showing up. All that was showing up was the rest, so that was making me a little confused, but I think
this is for you.
We can max everyone out now. So let's just do that with Reckless Abandon and hope that I'm remembering that correctly. Because if not, then it may turn out that we have more limited resources than I realized. And we might have preferred to approach this a little more strategically, but hopefully that's not the case. And we can just mindlessly
that good, huh?
Feed all the treats to our familiars.
This is for you.
And I suppose even if we can't quite afford to do that, we should be so close that, you know, if 1 or 2 familiars has 1 or 2 upgrades that aren't quite maxed out, then so be it. I think we'll be okay.
This'll make you strong. Look at you now, little raven.
Okay. Might be... even let us treat you? Once they're... wait. Born? What?
Alteration of familiar form.
This is what we were unlocking before and we weren't sure how it worked. But now we can see it. Okay. Okay, well, obviously we're breaking one of these out. That is really cool. It does cost Nightmare. Like, a lot of Nightmare. Understandably, perhaps. But we cannot afford that right now. Okay, so obviously we're going to use someone who has very cool forms. Can you only do that once they're maxed out? That's what I theorized might have been the case.
Can't get enough of those.
I think Hecuba here is the one that might be lagging the furthest behind in terms of the treats she has received.
We're strong, my friend.
So let's change that. Admittedly, not paying the closest of attention to exactly what number these upgrades are getting to, but of course, we can pay closer attention to that next time we find ourselves actually using one of these particular familiars. I'm admittedly not sure which one it's going to be for this run just yet. It will probably be decided by none other than what their appearance looks like. How cool we can make them look.
Surprise.
Hockey did seemingly have some very cool options. Now this will, theoretically, one would think, be a pretty Hex-oriented run, since we are using what is basically the designated Hex weapon aspect. And Hecuba does give max magic, which does tie in pretty well with that.
The Queen of the Hounds.
Queen of the Hounds. So we could potentially end up going that route. Let's see. Oh, that is pretty cool. Okay, they all have a nightmare, or at least potentially multiple of them have nightmarish forms. Let's see what the other resources are that they require, because some of those might be somewhat difficult to get, like the nightmare. And the dust, as we said, we kind of want to be mindful of that. But the tears, those come from defeating Cerberus. We're kind of fine with that. The flux has come from chaos rooms. We have plenty of that to go around. Hold on. I actually meant to see if we can...
How do you see yourself tonight?
Treat you, but no, you are maxed out already, so we can go... Ooh. There's some pretty cool ones. Okay, so anyone that doesn't say form means we can still treat. Apparently I cut you off too early here, Freenos. My apologies.
Look at how strong you've grown.
Okay, now that may be an achievement for, yes, maxing out all familiars. There you go. Beast Master. I think there is also one
Change of style.
for using one of the... The first one I saw was this, with little wings, and that's pretty hilarious. He's a cherub. Or he's a demon. Up to you. So I think maybe we do go Hecuba here. We don't use Hecuba very often, but let's throw on... Not this one. Let's do this one.
Switch it up, Hecuba. You look great.
So I'm not sure if you need to get one of those for every individual familiar, and that's how you get the achievement, or if it's unlocking every single upgrade for every single familiar, in which case that is obviously a little more challenging. Potentially quite a bit more challenging. You do look a fair bit like Cerberus.
Care to accompany me, little one?
Which is kind of fitting, given how we use Cerberus resources to make you look like this, but also just generally pretty cool. Okay, so I think we're good to go now. Just double check.
Do I dare?
Yeah, nothing here. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter which direction we go in, but I'm thinking we go up, just because what we've heard is that apparently there are far fewer changes to the plot progression on the surface than there are changes to the plot progression in the underworld. So I think on runs such as this, where we're getting a little more experimental, or at least exploring other prophecies, we do those for the surface runs, and then for the underworld runs, we'll focus more on just what is new to the ending. So let's hop on in.
Into the cold.
So we're looking for Ares if we can get them, and then if we
No
do,
pressure.
we are interested in getting the duo Hex with him. Okay, so the random epic rarity chaos boon was a lot of magic restoration. We also, I'm pretty sure, have an arcana card for that as well, so we should have crazy magic regeneration right now.
Pleased to have finally met in a more proper way, my dear. You bought this mountain of ours a bit of extra time, so we are bolstering our defenses as best we can. Thus, I'm beseeching you to hurry back.
Alright, so remember, we're gonna see some comments like this that suggest, hey, you haven't defeated Typhon yet, because in this timeline, we have not. At least, not definitively yet. I think I did get most, if not all, of the rarity increasing arcana cards, though. So we should still have the same standard for what constitutes a good and not so good boon, or maybe we don't have the one... I mean, this one for the duos, yes, but we might not have the one for... That's epic. But what about the magic and higher? We may have dumped that. Admittedly, I don't think I realized that. And I was a little bit surprised. I was like, huh, we can do more rerolls than I expected on this run. That's probably why, because yeah, I think that one does cost 5. Something tells me magic restoration is not going to be particularly important to us on this one, but at the same time, these are pretty important. I'd rather not get a common rarity one for those. Okay. Also, admittedly, I probably should have double-checked what the basic attacks were like with this particular weapon aspect, because I did not. Okay, yeah, I'd rather not sit on that. And Hecuba's specialty is digging stuff up like this, right? I also love when my hand falls asleep right as we start the run. Love that right now. Okay, so, I mean, we could deliberately use our rerolls. I deliberately took the one that lets us change which god or goddess shows up. So, if we want to try to force Ares, we could. However, I think probably makes sense to at least wait until we get into the city, see if he shows up there. We'll have so many options. And there's a decent chance he could be. Excuse me. That was weird. I was stuck.
Well,
I was more on the edge of the map than I realized, I guess. Trying to get rid of the house first.
from the forge.
Okay. Forge indeed.
So we've got Titan problems real close to home. Blasted shame about Prometheus, but then I reckon if Dad chained me up and had an eagle chew me liver every day, I'd be mad too.
You know, that's pretty fair. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more common rarity boons than I think we would usually see. I mean, this is not terrible to get early on. I mean, neither is this. Kind of similar idea. Get a little bit of extra armor, hopefully enough to help you functionally take less damage over the course of the run, and again, kind of trying to shy away from the common rarity boons to the extent possible. Oh, I would say so that we can potentially set up Narcissus, but that's not an option. No, it has to be this keepsake for the entire run, so alright, we will definitely need to settle for common rarity boons at some point. Let's see, so there's Hammer. Oh! Okay, there are a few very interesting things here. There is a hammer. That obviously intrigues me. The Hermes, we do generally like getting Hermes early on because he does have some stuff that is beneficial the earlier you get it. There is some Zeus plus Hera potential, and those two do generally combine really well together, especially if you can get the duo boon in one way or the other. One of those Zeus rooms is a mini-boss, and it has the scroll next to it, which means it would help with a prophecy. In fact, I think that is probably the last mini-boss that we need to fight on the surface in that room, so that would be big. And then Selene, obviously, would just generally help with our Hex progression. We do not see any Ares, so we could use a reroll to get Ares. That may be in the cards here. Let's see, Hammer 1, or really, Hermes 1, Hammer 2, we do Zeus, Hera, that's 5 rooms already, and that means we'd only have 1 left,
What
which we
else is
could
here?
use for Selene, but that means no opportunity to reroll for Ares. We will, of course, see a shop once we're done with all these rooms before going to the full-blown boss, but I don't actually remember if we can reroll in the shops, which god and goddess it is that shows up there. If so, that would probably be the ideal timing. So I'm not necessarily sure that we really want to build around Ares as much as we just want to be able to check it off for prophecy completion purposes. So let's start here. Let's see what we get. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, I do remember, yeah, that takes a really long time to land. We were stuck in a situation like that on a run not that long ago where I ended up getting hit quite a bit because I was waiting for it to land. I didn't want to walk into the AoE and it just wouldn't arrive.
Guess you're getting close to a breakthrough there with Gramps and Typhon and whatnot. Don't want to rush you, Em, but this is me. I just can't help myself sometimes.
And then some other things that we're hearing may end up being repeat dialogue from stuff we've heard from the first time round when we were defeating Typhon and Kronos for reals. Okay, so as I was saying, we definitely will have to settle for common rarity boons a fair bit of the time. Charge up moves being faster is pretty nice, because the other thing about this aspect, not just that it gives us a hex right off the bat, but it also... the other thing, Shine... hidden hex that strikes multiple foes, and when it hits them, it applies Shine, which means they take plus 50% damage from charge moves. So you kind of want to lead with the hex early, and then follow up with the charge moves. Obviously, using charge moves also charges up the hex. But, so making those be faster would be nice. Speed and blocks per encounter, it's kind of similar to what we took here, helping us just take more damage, or take less damage over the course of the run. And then if we have a lot of monies, we can benefit a lot from this. So I do tend to like that, but since we did not take the gold coin purse, it's a little harder to capitalize on that in this run. Although it is possible get a random Chaos Boon that gives us more gold earning potential. So, I don't know. Take your pick. In a vacuum, this is probably usually my favorite, followed by this, then this, unless this is higher rarity, in which case, as I said, for this build, it could be very good. So, I mean, there's no wrong choice here. I guess we'll still try this, though.
We should head to the main square.
Not yet, we shouldn't. Because we'd like to see what this has for us. Oh, no! Nope. Dodge back into that. Probably not a great thing to do. Please don't hit me while I'm trying to finish killing that guy. Yes, I do see. Oh, that missed. There we go. Okay. Bones, which give us, well, bones, and a little bit of max magic. Thought I saw a golden urn in here as well. Did we end up destroying it along the way? I think we did. Okay, so yeah, magic. Not really a concern right now. Certainly not while we have that Chaos Boon. Okay, I think we probably do want you, just because you have the potential to help us out, maybe more than any other room would. Kind of thinking this is going to be the only wave. He says right as another wave spawns in, then he's totally wrong. Huzzah! This is what this hex does, in case you forgot about it. I do vaguely remember thinking it's not that good until you start upgrading it a lot. It's reason for us to try to hunt down that Selene room. If you're blocking with charge attack, your special auto fires 5 shots. Attack is 35% faster. Attack deals extra damage to armor. We've already taken all these. I think we just go straight forward here.
The black
Extra
coat shines.
attack speed.
What?
Okay, I don't know why. Malinaway was so surprised, but I probably should have got hit by that guy. He's very annoying. He was armored, which is totally stagger locking, but it was avoidable. Okay, just the equivalent of a Quattro Boon. Some of that. Okay, and that looks like all. Oh yeah, and the damage that we took there, we just ate with our free armor that we get in every room. That's the idea. Helps negate those little bits of damage you take here and there. Okay. So... Oh, hello there. Don't mind me. Kind of just attempting to stick around there, just stand still there for a second and see how much damage that could do by itself, but it's pretty slow and seemingly not great for that. So I think now I do want to do this one because we know that this is a particular encounter we want to do. I imagine that it remains this exact mini-boss fight. I'm not sure if that changes if we re-roll the specific god or goddess here. So, you know, ideally we might re-roll this, turn it into Ares so we can get the duo boon there while still having the same mini-boss encounter. But I don't really want to risk that when we know for certain that this is an encounter that we want to see, and as I said, there is definitely still something to be said for combining Zeus with
Show me the
potentially
surroundings.
another Zeus room, and also Hera over there. So, let's, I mean, of course, theoretically, this is a more challenging encounter because it is a mini-boss, and it has the scroll next to it, which means we've not seen this encounter yet, so it is more dangerous for that reason as well. So maybe we just take a little bit of time in these rooms to power up first. See if we can become a little stronger so it's a little less of a danger to us. Get rid of that house. Now for this house.
You shades are getting out of there.
Shades. We'll get out of there. There's more houses. Thinks that there are more houses. So, plural now. Ooh, hold on. Excuse me. Please don't do that. I admittedly don't even remember what that was. Ow. Excuse me. Because you are actually a really big problem. Nope. Stop that. Oh, I was paying attention to the other one. Alright, fortunately, the armor still functionally negated all that damage.
I must admit, young lady, I had my doubts about you coming all this way to lend your aid. We ought to be capable enough to drive back Typhon on our own. But our latest battle with him might have gone differently if not for you.
Okay, ooh, all common rarity. Don't like to see that. But these are potentially good building blocks. Prime even more magic, like a lot more magic. I mean, these are the big primary category of boons. The thing about Static Shock is 10 damage is not a lot, but if you can get up to the Zeus Infusion, which does a minimum of 40 or 50, I think it's 50 damage per hit, then suddenly this becomes 5 times more effective. So, given how we have at least one more Zeus boon, or Zeus room that we're looking at, and Zeus is pretty much exclusively air boons, feel like that is something
I grow strong.
we may have a decent chance of picking up later on, if we do commit to Zeus stuff long term, and of course there are other gods and goddesses who can potentially give air boons as well. Okay, it's more bones, which means even more magic. I just want to double check. What does Hecuba do offensively? Occasionally stuns surrounding foes for 1 second. Oh, and that's where we saw that spirit bubble come from. Okay. Digs up healing and spirit bubbles. And the max magic, as we were saying before. So, despite us having primed 80 magic, at this point we still might have more magic than you would usually begin with at the start of a run.
Be not afraid.
Let's see here.
Good.
Go. And that's another source of air boons, as it turns out. So now we have 2. As I said, I think we can pretty safely say we are likely to get at least 1 more on this floor. So basically, if we're gonna try to be picky about certain boons with the rarity, let's try to make those the primary categories of attack and special and whatnot. I guess we'll go Hera here. Again, we're
Tombstone.
basically trying to set ourselves up for the duo potential, maximizing the duo potential if possible. So, as I was saying at the beginning, yes, in some ways, we do want to see Ares for the sake of prophecy completion. However, we don't necessarily think that he is the best for our build.
Pylon destroyed.
It's more so just for prophecy purposes. With the extra attack speed we got from that hammer upgrade, yeah, that makes the Zeus
Well done there,
chaining
Hecuba.
lightning a lot more effective.
Olympus, I accept this message.
And let's see. Well, okay. In hindsight, maybe we would have liked to have taken one of the other Zeus boons, because it'd have a pretty good chance of getting hit by Bridal Glow in that case. What else can get? I don't think Travel Deal can get hit by it, because it cannot level up, even if it can rarefy. Trusty Shield, I don't know if that can level up either. Again, possible to rarefy, but what I'm getting at is, it's only a very small number of boons that can get hit by it, and the ones that can get hit are not great. Or the incremental value is not great, unfortunately. So I think we might just settle for something like Nexus Rush here, or even this. I really like the Zeus special though, so let's go with the sprint. And if we get sacrifice boons later on, then, you know, fine. you can potentially swap those out for something better. And of course, if we do end up getting the Hera/Zeus duo, then that means we will end up doing a different type of sacrifice, and we'll likely be looking to replace or refill what are ultimately going to become empty boon slots. Oh, I did not even see those guys, to be honest with you. I was kind of just on autopilot for the next room, because at this point, with only 2 rooms left, I was thinking we would now probably try this out, or unless we decide, you know, now is a good time to go with this, which, you know, sure, yeah, we could alter this, and in doing so, that means that we could potentially replace Selene with Ares, for example, or Fish until that eventually does happen, but we're gonna need some Selene upgrades, and we can't use the Selene keepsake on this run, so it's a way to at least get us closer to eventually being able to unlock the duo boon with this. One that I want to be focusing on right now, to be honest with you. Okay, that was not the only way. There. Fortunately, the chaining lightning is pretty good when it comes to it's pretty good when it comes to removing the armor from enemies that you aren't even necessarily focusing on. Usually that is risk, of course, is, you know, if you're kind of just relying on the stunning to be one of your main forms of defense.
Good find.
Then, in a surprising armored enemy sneaking up on you can be a problem. Look at that, 1 armor, it was just enough.
I draw you down, O moon. Lend me your light.
How my aspect of the black coat shines, for I can see it has achieved the apex of its power in your care. Such destruction it can sow that I yet have a certain fear of it myself.
Oh, well. Well, of course, we have learned that there is some significance to using this keepsake and encountering Selene on the same run. We have already done that, though. I wonder if this is referencing how we've maxed out the aspects. She sort of seems to be implying that. Obviously, that is the case. Trust deepened! Oh! Okay, well, that's a little bit of progress as well. So I do think that we will eventually see the duo boon show up further in this direction. So if we're using 3 points here, I think we probably want to find our way over to this. We take 20% less damage while it's active. What can we do along the way? The charge up, I mean, yes, we are going to lose some of the hex supporting stuff later on once the chaos boon shifts, but yeah, I don't know that this is meaningful enough for that to be a huge deal. Does more damage, has more of the little blasts. Shine debuff is stronger. Kind of leaning toward damage. Oh, unless, hold on. Technically, we can be 1 point more efficient in one direction or the other if we prefer ferocity. Hex deals plus 50% damage each time it keeps hitting the same foe versus extra damage to guardians, the bosses at the end of the floors. I mean, both of those are nice, and in either case, we'd be making progress toward this. Whenever you use charge moves, 1 random nearby foe is struck by the effect of your hex. So, make your hex strong, charge moves are gonna benefit in additional ways from your hex. Not sure that requires that much deliberate planning. So, yeah, we probably should still go on one of the 2 ends here. I guess we'll do this, and that.
The light of the moon.
Okay.
Your path is set.
Other mini rooms here? Doesn't seem like it. So that means only 1 room left. We've saved the big one
The
for
air feels
last.
different now.
Oh, not this one. The mini boss that we have not yet seen over here, and higher rarity Zeus boon, which could be quite good for one of those big slots like the attack or special, or cast, although I feel like in general we found that the attack and special have done the brunt of the heavy lifting, there we go, that's what I'm trying to say, with Zeus. So what is this all about? Oh,
The Boar of Eremanthus.
right, of course. I totally know what that means. Okay. Does summon stuff. That does seem to be a window to attack you. Then you do a huge explosion of sorts.
You'll be
Summon a
in no
lot of
time,
stuff.
Shades.
Ooh, okay, that's a thing. Apparently. But that's also your slam attack that I did not see coming. Oh, there's the kick again. Okay, so that does not cover the full arena. That's the big window right there. No! Stop doing that right on top of me! Ooh, that's a charge. I was trying to dodge away, but I was stuck in another animation. Yep, I anticipated that was going to be the kick. I still don't really know what the hell it's supposed to be. That's definitely going to be a charge. That's something. Oh, it's that. Okay. This is going to be a charge. I almost went straight back into it. Okay, there we go. So, the main challenge was just not knowing the mechanics of that fight, and we did end up taking some hits in the process.
Let go your rage, spirit.
But prophecy fulfilled. That is from defeating all of the mini-bosses on the surface, I'm fairly sure. So that's big. And then we did also just see our Chaos Boon change. It is now making our sprint 25% faster, which might have been helpful in this encounter. Let's just see what the lore is.
Too many hunters failed to tame the massive raging boar of Eremanthus whilst it lived and breathed, and not even death has been able to still its mighty hooves and tusks.
Yeah, admittedly, I do not really recognize that name. I do not know what the backstory, what the mythological backstory is behind that enemy.
I did, though. For now.
I suppose so. Alright. Now we nab this.
In the name of Hades.
This could be big, yeah. This is, I think, what we've been waiting for, or, you know, obviously we have the hammer upgrade that's improving our attack, so long term this is probably going to end up being even better for us, but we'll take this just because of the rarity for the time being, I guess.
Lightning from on high.
That's now especially strong. Doesn't seem like there's anything else over here, but fortunately... Oh, wow, yeah, we did take a lot of damage there. We do have the healing right now, so that is well timed. And yeah, the extra armor definitely made a difference there as well. We do have the shop where, I mean, a little bit of healing wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but we can roll Ares. That would be ideal. I don't know if we can, though. I don't know if that's still possible at this stage. Oh, right, and the first thing that we purchase is discounted, and we are going to get a copy of it, so that makes it easier for us to get Ares, and there's more Zeus and Hera potential here, which is very nice. We're going to start with this, and then if we can re-roll the next one, then we will. Let's see. Get the cast. I mean, ideally, I'd like to sacrifice Hera to empower Zeus. I feel like that's generally the case. So that means I'd ideally like to see more supporting boons from Hera, or at least ones that wouldn't leave us devastated to sacrifice, and ones that would benefit more from being upgraded in the case of Zeus. So that's where the special is really big on Zeus. The cast would be nice on Zeus as well. Don't really want the Hera attack. I think that'd be a bigger deal to have that be Hera instead of Zeus. So could go with this. Damaging effects from Olympians are stronger for each boon giver we have. That's decent at this stage. Obviously, the higher rarity this is, the more value you get per individual boon-giving god or goddess, so it's not huge at this stage. Oh, this is nice for sort of the chain reactions. Oh, we were also talking about trying to get to the air infusion threshold for Zeus, so maybe we take you for that reason. And this is a mystery. Oh, we definitely can't re-roll that, right?
Just what you wanted, right?
It's a Festus.
My mum, the Queen, could not believe that you and I had been conversing there, Luigi. So I had to prove it to her, you understand? Though it seems she wants to be conversing in my stead.
Sounds like a duo. Not the one we were talking about, but maybe we'll take this.
My son Hephaestus need only prove he can exude the confidence befitting a god, rather than whatever it is he exudes instead. He's made himself useful, at least, yes?
Oh, he's been very helpful. Okay, Brave Face. We've definitely seen this before. Automatically Oh, we've seen it many times before. Yes. Resist damage using magic. Magic basically becomes an extra layer of health. The problem is that potentially means you can find yourself running out of magic very quickly and unexpectedly, especially against big hits from bosses. So it's not one that I'm particularly thrilled about, because it has, on at least one occasion, I think, been the direct cause of us failing a run. So I would probably prefer this. We do have a lot of magic already, so I think we take this. I mean, again, higher rarity would be even better still, because we leave a little bit of value on the metaphorical table. There we go. It's still a fair bit. And then, admittedly, well, we didn't really want to take this first because we didn't want to get a copy of it, but we'll take it nonetheless. And so, okay, that does give us more armor per location. It is possible to level this up. I think we go... I mean, we'd like to sacrifice Hera to get Zeus levels. There is a chance it'll end up being in the opposite direction, and bear in mind, when you do sacrifice the boons of one of those two with the Hera/Zeus duo, it does not give you additional value based on the level or even rarity of the boons that you're sacrificing, only the quantity of boons that you're sacrificing. So leveling these up is a little bit tricky. We might lose that if it ends up being the one that we sacrifice later on, but at least in the short term, this is obviously the best option for us, and we'd like for Zeus to be the one who gains levels rather than being the one who gets sacrificed. What is your deal, Aaron? Why do you have an exclamation point above your head?
We vanquished Typhon, at least for the night, my lord. Hermes ensured that I was well supplied. Plenty of gold for you lately.
Okay. I imagine we probably have heard that before with our first go-round. Okay, let's hop in. This should be just standard. Yeah, no fear on this run, so it should just be standard Polyphemus. Opted not to heal because we're close to full life here.
You stink like the dead, but you're not from the town. You're from further below. You'd be better off staying on your side of the fence.
I'm here to pay my relatives a visit. You just keep getting in the way. Almost as though violence better suits you than the shepherd's life.
Ouch.
Why, you're a real thinker for a slice of meat. Just because I'm retired don't mean I don't want to work up an appetite no more, does it now?
We'll see about that. Special... Ooh, hello. I'm stashed into that. Special is the thing that I really want to be focusing on to the extent possible. That is far away. Our strongest move right now.
Gone far.
Hello. Yep, I know. Oh, okay. You're displeased with me. See that. About to start using those charging attacks.
Not the best meal I ever had.
Okay, never mind. Like that he cannot hear this very loud series of attacks that we're using right now.
Here's some of my pals.
Usually it's kind of tricky to hit him in that phase. I'm glad we did manage to do that. By how I didn't get hit there, because I seem he went straight to his attack. Also, that sheep is a nasty one forward. Phased again. Might only do that attack once he gets to the final phase, if that is the case.
Sounds like the sheep got into something.
He's not happy. Oop, that was bad. Please. There we go, not so bad. Alright, Polyphemus down.
Sleep well, Cyclops.
And no fear, but this is the bonus weapon, which means we get a little bit of gemstones for good measure. Didn't really notice if there's anything else useful in here. Doesn't look like it. So let's venture on here, and didn't really take much damage, so that's good. Remember, no switching our keepsake. We're just sticking with what we have here. We'll check in on the mini shop. I feel like we tend not to see this here. I could not tell you when we last had this option. Now, if we do buy and expedite, we do get an extra item showing up in the shop, courtesy of the Hermes boon that we picked up. However, that starts to get very pricey very quickly. In fact, I'm not even sure if we could afford to buy and then expedite. So I think we're probably just going to choose to wait for a normal shop, or at least delay until we see the next mini shop mid-floor when we hopefully have a little more cash to work with, because right now we're a little bit tight on money. Carry on here.
Now then.
Okay, we are ideally still looking for opportunities to get an Ares showing here. Hold on. Your throwing spears, I believe they are generally referred to as javelins.
Which way now?
Okay, so I'm thinking we try to alter you. I believe this is technically still the same category as a boon. Is it? Or are palms, max life, and max magic all in their own category? I mean, we have 10 rerolls. We deliberately designed our Arcana to give us as many rerolls as we could get. So let's see. Okay. I mean, that is great. So I'm tempted to just stick with this, and then maybe a subsequent one we choose to reroll. Let's do this. So I think, we, in the past, it took us a little while before we did much of anything on the reroll side. And then eventually we got to the point where, sure, we would use, 3 is generally the number that we would have, but we tend not to take the one that allows us to actually change the type of god or goddess who shows up. But I think that is actually a pretty common one for people to take, especially for people who are really pushing for, high fear runs, or, what it allows you to do, of course, is to more deliberately structure your build in a given way. So if you come in with a plan, you can actually leave that somewhat up to your own choosing, rather than just have that be, completely up to chance. So let's
Hear me, on my authority.
see what we can do here. Charge moves are faster. We saw this before, but it was on much lower rarity, so that is tempting. We can make our attack, special and cast even faster, which combined with this would be kind of insane. Only your charge cast fast. I think we go with this. We were very close to taking it before, but we opted not to because we had a good alternative option, but now we get a little bit of the best of both worlds, so I am a fan of that. Okay, so this, for example, this category is only sort of the crafting resources. This is never going to have the possibility to give us a god or goddess, so doesn't really make sense for us to reroll here. Best it could probably do would be give us a nectar, which is, a mini palm, a palm slice. I don't know that that's reason enough to use some potentially quite valuable rerolls, so I think we'll just stick with this, and I'm pretty much just going to take the bones for the sake of, getting bones. I think usually I would prioritize getting a little bit of max life instead, but given how we're not taking any fear on this run, I feel like we can take a little more liberties on that front. Oh, okay.
Tucked away.
So now this we could reroll, and I think we probably will. So I think we probably keep this as the backup plan, but I would like to alter. Ideally, we're looking for Ares.
Change of fate.
A little bit better, but still, nope. Definitely not. So We'll use all of our rerolls here if we have to, because this is why we took them in the first place. Yeah, Selene would be helpful, but... Ooh, okay, actually, to tell you the truth, I was gonna say, the point I was about to make has immediately been disproven. I was about to say, I'm not sure if it's possible to reroll into gods and goddesses who you have yet to see on a run, or if it will only re-roll you into ones that already have precedent, in which case we'd see a bunch of Zeus and Hera. And that'd be kind of busted if that was the case, because it'd be so easy to load up on a bazillion of those, but obviously we do not yet have Aphrodite, so this is new. We're gonna keep on rolling, though. And some of these are not so great. So, at this point, I think we will settle, because we only have one re-roll left. So, is that the ideal way to use those? No, not exactly. As I was kind of getting at. We were deliberately going a little further on the rerolls there because we were fishing for one particular thing. But, in truth, ideally it would be, close enough to get them? Not really. Ideally, hello? We would have just rolled straight into Ares and not have to have worried about that much. I did not expect that to have that much range, but you know, I probably should have. You know, if you guys want to hang out in the fire, that's actually pretty ideal if you ask me. Ah, that was sweet, though. So focused on the other guy. I was focusing on the guy that was closer, not the guy that was further away. Okay, so let's take this.
Olympus, I accept this message.
And, well, yes, that could be good, but is this the basic cast? I think this is the basic cast. It is an air boon. We'd be at 5, which means if we see the Zeus infusion, we're immediately eligible for it, which is nice. But we're immediately activating it. So, that is useful, although this is... Ideally, we'd see the Zeus cast so that it could get upgraded as well, so I think we take this. Try to plan around that a little bit more. Okay, lots and lots of Selene potential here, both from this and potentially, and certainly from that. So, I'm thinking we give it a go here.
What wants this place come forth?
Does he morph us? Is that how that works? I don't know if we've seen that before, but that's kind of terrifying. This guy does also have ginormous area of effect, which is tricky to deal with. Okay, I've gotten that little closer than I probably ought to have. Okay, nope, nope. I'll get out of there. There we go. That was over easy. Like that. Add there. My dodge button on my controller is very sticky, which is very concerning. And by sticky, I mean that. Not that I have actually some sticky, like, I don't even know what on... Oh, that's not what I wanted to see. Okay, well, now we know what that does. Yes, it does transform us. I just mean that it's, like, getting stuck in place. Because of a mechanical failure, not because of there being something physically on the button. Just the button is old and worn out, which almost led to a problem on a few occasions there, but here we are. So the thing is, yes, this gives us points for the Hex. Ideally, we would already have Ares, and so we could get the Duo Hex right now. But since we did not get it on this room, that means instead we're just doing more or less generic Hex upgrades, and the same can likely be said for the next room as well. So, would have been really good timing to have rolled into Ares, but we certainly threw almost every single reroll in there and did not end up getting it. So I think for now, we're just getting extra damage, have it last longer, and have Shine debuff become a little bit stronger.
Selene's hidden strength.
Okay, so let us head on over here now. Oh, okay, that works. So yeah, a lot more Selene, like right now. So I think we probably do this and that. And then this, it does, of course, increase the cost to charge up the hex. Hopefully that's worthwhile. There are some cases for some hexes where I feel like that is actually not worthwhile, but let's see what we can get for the mini shop.
What's for delivery?
We could get even more. It's not very expensive. And I don't really think we need any of these other ones, so I think we will take this. If we expedite, there will be another item that shows up here. However, at that point, buying that item and also doing the 30 gold expedition cost, that starts to add up, especially given how we know there's going to be at least one more shop on this floor, potentially more mini shops along the way. So I think we want to be mindful of that, given how we do not have quite as much gold earning potential on this run as we would usually like to see. We did not... Ooh, hello. Okay, that was also... Did not... It was not the cause of me getting hit on that occasion. I just straight up didn't see that. But it did after the fact. I did have my dodge button stuck for a solid second. Not good. Okay, so now, as I was saying before, these cannot really be re-rolled into anything that is super useful. This is probably the best thing you can get. Oh. This. Gives us an extra earth boon as well. Okay, so let's do this. Gives us potentially something getting upgraded. Hopefully something good. Special probably being the most significant thing. Stop teleporting away from me. There we go. Okay, so what will you upgrade? The answer is...
Something changed about my chaos boon.
This? Now it's 20 armor per room, and now the Chaos Boon has changed. Where is it? Cast damage. We do not currently have a cast boon, so that is a bit unfortunate. Speaking of palms, we can take 1 year, or we can use our last reroll. I mean, I do feel like it probably makes sense to hold on to our other rerolls, or our other singular reroll, in case there's, for whatever reason, a desperate moment that we need it at the end.
Need to get closer.
So I think now we just kind of sit for a while. Ooh, that's easy. Yeah, almost every time I'm pressing the dodge button, it is now getting stuck. So that is a big problem for boss fights in particular, when you get seriously punished for standing still for a long time. Now that one was me. That one was user error. I'll own up to it when it's my own failings. It was the case that time. Now you are armorless. This, and then maybe that. There we go. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, this is ideally what we'd like to upgrade. Of course, if this is a boon that ends up getting sacrificed later on, then we're losing a fair bit of value from that, but same could be said for this, and this is the one that we are more so looking to sacrifice. And 3 extra armor per room is hard to get excited about. Right. So let's go with the special. Okay, so that'll be Circe.
Little seeds and bigger fronds, stones from rivers,
Evening, little pigs.
moss from ponds.
Now, remember last time we were here, we saw a pig that had an anchor tattoo. Just seeing if there is such a pig this time as well. Seemingly not. Not gonna give to you, I don't think.
That awful storm enveloping the mountain of the gods, why just the other night it cleared, all brilliant moonlight in its place. I thought perchance you had achieved what you'd set out to do. But now you're back, and so's the storm.
Well, we did defeat Typhon, although speaking of Typhon, that is, of course, the most significant encounter where having some hardware failures could be an issue. In fact, I think that did lead to us dying on at least one occasion against Typhon with this same controller. Because I'm thinking about, like, the tongue attack in particular. You dodge one, and then if you can't quickly dodge again, you're gonna get nailed with a humongous damaging hit. And that's not good.
It turns out the father of all monsters is not particularly easy to dissuade. I don't know who wants his vengeance against Lord Zeus more, Typhon, Prometheus, or Kronos.
Yeah, for what it's worth, in the early access, first there was Kronos as the obvious adversary, because, well, he was the main bad guy, and as you know, at the beginning of the game, you can only go down. But then, when you started unlocking the surface, at first, Typhon and the final floor was not there. In fact, at first it was only 2 floors, right? I think there were only 2 floors on the surface for a little while, if I remember correctly, or that might have been... I might have only been getting around there at that point in time in the early access development, but there was definitely a time where on the surface, Prometheus was the final boss. And it wasn't really clear at that point, okay, is that always going to be the case? Because there are only 3 floors on the surface and there are 4 in the underworld. Or are you going to add an additional floor after the fact and it's actually going to be an even more powerful enemy at the very end of the surface runs? And also I'm now seeing the anchor tattoo on that pig that is now behind Cersei. But, so, it's interesting here to see that Cersei is putting those 3 people in the same category. Not that Typhon is a person, nor are technically the Titans either. But, at that point in time in the early access, the surface was, in general, more difficult than the underworld. That remains the case now, although I think that was even more so the case back then, because they made some balancing changes to the surface to make it a little bit easier. And so it made you, or at least made me wonder, okay, is that why the surface is 1 floor shorter? It's just a way to sort of balance out for what would otherwise be a more difficult direction. But, no, of course, eventually they did add the summit and Typhon along with it.
Our Lady Hecate and you seek vengeance of your own. You've met Charybdis in the rift here, yes? An all-consuming force. When I imagine vengeance, all I see is that engulfing maw.
Okay, so I think we have now taken all of the potential upgrades from Cersei. We have that done. Hex damage could be nice if we truly think that we're getting to the point where the Hex is meaningful. Otherwise, we get more life, weapon damage, more healing. I mean, as I was saying before, I'm actually not the biggest fan of the... Well, we're about to get even more upgrades from the Hex. Okay, we'll do it.
Then very well.
Thanks.
But it technically means add that to the list of things that would really benefit from getting the, what we think is, Ares duo boon on this Hex. That guy just always gets one shot. First guy hanging out there, so spend much time worrying about him. Those guys, on the other hand, they are much more concerned. Hello, off-screening enemy. Now that was long. One moment while I break your armor. Get this delivered. And that means 4 Hex upgrades for us. And presumably we want to be headed in that direction. So that means either this guy or this guy. And we did increase the cost of the Hex, so it wouldn't be the worst thing to charge it up a little more quickly now. What are we getting along the way? Fires more. I think that works. Just double check. What are we working toward up here? The damage to bosses, which obviously we're getting close to Eris at this point. So this would be another potentially worthwhile room to re-roll to see if we can get Ares, but as I was saying, we're kind of just waiting for the time when we're desperate near the end of the run, if there's one particular boon that we really want, and then in the meantime, just cross our fingers, maybe Ares will end up making an appearance by himself without any intervention required. No particular steps that we'll need to take. Oh,
Your evening going?
I was about to say, the encounter very much seems to be over. Nope, that was bad. Sure, please don't do that. It's very much still going now. Something seemingly pushed me away. Right. Oh, I see that. They're still spawning. Wow. Wow, that was bad. Okay. Very long encounter, as is often the case when you get those friends shown up, but still,
Hi.
even by that standard.
You really went and took on Typhon, eh? I caught a glimpse of him, as close as I dared fly to that huge storm. Could have squished you like a bug. Although I guess bugs can't use magic to escape.
True.
And bugs have wings, kind of like you. But yes, I can attest to Typhon's size and strength. Fortunately, I'm quicker, and have every god and goddess on Olympus backing me.
Well, not everyone. There's one in particular that we would really like to see. Also, did we just call Icarus a bug? Because I think we might have.
But they're my pales in comparison to my inventions here. Well, I shouldn't even jest like that. You don't suppose they heard? Don't tell them I said anything.
Yeah, I would not say things like that. That is very dangerous. Okay, let's see. Get 50 armor. Next time we lose it all, we do big time damage. That does synergize a bit with what we have from Hephaestus. This one giving us 20 additional armor that refreshes every room. There's something to be said for that. I do generally really like this. Long-term potential is pretty huge on that, so I think we'll take it.
Good idea.
This is one of my favorite options from Icarus. Okay, so can we get Ares to show up here? That's the hope. We did also take some damage in that room, which I believe means we will be going into this upcoming Ares fight not on full life, which is a bit unfortunate. It's a new god that we have yet to see, but it's not one of the ones that we were looking for. What we take, we will see an extra copy show up. So I think we probably do still take this first.
In the name of Hades.
Hera card as well. We do have enough fire boons, actually, that this infusion is immediately active. We do also currently have extra cast damage coming from our Chaos boon, if I remember correctly, wherever you are. Yeah, but we don't have a cast boon right now, so that would be quite useful, although I've said it many times before, Apollo's cast boon is not one of my favorites. So I think we will take the healing instead.
Something.
And then we can get this, and we can get that. We can get this, and we can get that. But we can't get everything. Let's see. Get the attack boon. I mean, if we're trying to farm up the Zeus-Hera duo, then ideally we would be seeing more of those things in the major slots. This is technically the secondary cast boon from Apollo. We could still take that. The revenge boon. I mean, obviously, in a vacuum, this is almost certainly the best boon for us by a wide margin. But it's just a matter of how committed are we to trying to get this duo action from Zeus and Hera, and that's where it could usually, it would likely be the thing that you would focus on setting up with all of your god/goddess reroll options. It's just that we were fishing for one particular god or goddess, and so we passed up some opportunities to do that instead. So, I mean, we already have... Oh, no, we don't have enough air boons. Okay, let's do this, in case we do see the Zeus infusion showing up later on. So if we take this, it means we can do absolutely nothing from the next mini shop after this fight, which you could argue is not a great position to be in. What would we want from that? Probably healing would be the only somewhat significant thing that we'd actually be able to afford. Anything else would probably be out of our price range anyway. So you know what? Let's take it. And was it the one that we just picked up that was not particularly good? Just got upgraded? Where is it? Oh. Okay. I do like... I mean... I think there's a big difference between this being high level / rarity and being low level / rarity. If it's enough damage that it can actually kill things in and of itself, then that's a huge difference maker. 60 damage, I don't know that that's going to make a huge difference, though. Alright, so here goes Ares.
Dry land.
Heal a little bit more coming into the encounter, so that is nice.
Look what washed up. What happened up there on Olympus last night, babe? Looked like the storm cleared for a little while. Almost flew in for a look-see, but I don't like the cold.
What happened was, after I got past you, I eventually climbed all the way up to the summit where I sent the father of all monsters, Typhon, crashing to the earth.
You did? Whoa, you must be really strong. Or Typhon must be really weak. And since you're back already, then I guess whatever happened didn't mean a thing.
I mean, that is kind of true in a way.
Better hide.
No, that was bad. Oh, she does that way longer than I was giving her credit for. I am concerned about the controller acting up here. Oop. No, no targets. Standing right in front of her.
See you again. Hold over. Now watch this.
Not the best timing for you to phase like that, if I'm being honest with you. No, please don't do that. You're in a rather bad place to avoid getting hit by that. So that you no, I did not. Oh, hell. Well, this is a good time to be doing this. Trying to. Well done. Summon ads during this phase. No. Moment. That was close.
Here comes my favorite part.
Never mind. Take it back! I was zoning out for a second there, I think. And that's also not a great time to be doing that, to be honest with you. Stop running away! At inopportune times. Nope. I don't know how that did just go. Also, where did you go? Right in front of me. Answer that question. In case you're wondering. Okay, you have not summoned ads once, which is strange. Close. Yeah, pretty close to doing this. Oh, no! Stop doing that! No! Not like that. Fortunate timing. That Vids should be close. Up. There we go. So yeah, it took a fair bit of damage, but I think we'll be okay. We'll obviously get a healing after this encounter from the well. Didn't see exactly how much it was. Yeah, no, not too bad in the grand scheme of things.
Stolen.
We've certainly had worse Eris fights than that.
That's that.
Something about that Hecuba figurine, whatever you want to call it, from that angle. Not great. I think they might want to change the angle of that one. Alright, let's take this. Remember, we're not changing the keepsake. And then this is what I was saying, is we were almost certainly not going to be able to afford anything here. So yeah, Path of Stars would have been the best thing we would have potentially been able to afford if not for us purchasing the, what was it? The mini palm? No. Was it mini palm? Yeah, mini palm in the previous shop, which, given how that didn't land on a particularly useful boon, yeah, in hindsight, maybe the Selene would have been a little bit better, but on we go. A little bit more gold, if and when we can. Quick. Avoid getting bullied by that guy. Yeah, our lack of attack, given how we only have a special boon right now, we are getting to the point where, yeah, having more of the fundamental boons would go a long way. So I can wail on this guy forever with just our very quick attack, and that still doesn't add up to doing all that much. Okay, we definitely would benefit from more gold, so I think that makes a lot of sense for us to go here.
Taking off. More gold pikes.
That's what those guys are called. I was gonna say, I was going into this room to get gold. So I almost thought that's what you meant. I was gonna say there was no way that those were the only enemies in this encounter. I will not be shy about it. That. There we go. Get some some more gold. Okay, now we can at least get a boon from a mini shop, expedited, or from a full-blown shop. Okay, I mean, we have to do hammer, right? I think, even if we still don't have a lot of other stuff to work around right now, boon-wise. Still has the most potential. Oh. Hello there. Oh, you're attacking. Rather convenient. There's also, as I was saying in the other room, no way this is the last wave. He is lead with the... Oh, please don't do that. Lead with the Spectral. Try and get the Blitz damage to fly as early and often as possible, because that is far and away our biggest source of damage. That end. Very fast attack. Oh, what a snipe! Oh my goodness. I did not even see that guy attacking me. The snipe was insane. And that is kind of what these guys do. It's been a while since we've gotten hit by any of them, I'm going to be honest with you, or at least in any sort of, you know, hit by them in any sort of significant way. That does add up a bit. Fortunately, the armor helps us brush that off a bit. We do also have the delayed healing, or at least every, what is it, 7 rooms we get the healing from Icarus. Okay, attacks. Strike foes, your special... Oh, we have very fast attack speed. That's really nice. Okay, I kind of love that. That would also be really good. I mean, if we can get an attack boon that's good, then this is, I think, probably still better. At the moment, short term, this is probably better. But let's think big.
The power of Kacinth.
Let's think big. Okay, there's a lot of gold around there, but I don't think any of it is actually a golden urn. Okay, now Hera, of course, does give us potential for more Zeus plus Hera duo boon power. So we do like that. That was bad. That was so bad. Oh, these guys, I'm realizing, are not standing next to one of those statues. So they can very easily pin us in a corner right now and do a boatload of damage in the process. That is the tricky thing about these guys, is when they do hit, they're going to hit you a bazillion times. And it does add up a lot. But there's only one, though. We can do the bullying.
The boon from Chaos just took hold.
Okay, now what did we just end up getting from Chaos this time? Channel your charge moves 24% faster. Okay, I mean, that can certainly be a very good thing.
In the name of Hades.
We get here. You are immediately activated, and there are at least a few boons that would be hit by that. Upgrading to rare boons, so that is nice. Otherwise, I mean, obviously, short term, this would be really good, and if this hits something good, it would also be really good. But I think I might still go for this. Bridal Glow is very tempting, though. If it hits you, then that's probably the most meaningful, even if that's only one incremental rarity tier. And it already has some levels, so there are some diminishing returns there as well, but I'm gonna do it. It was Dying Wish. No, it's the one that also got upgraded before, but, well, actually, now this is. At 136 damage, now this is legitimately a much more significant factor. Okay, that's like double the damage that it was, more than double the damage it was before, I think.
What's good here?
And here, I think we're passing on this stuff. We have some gold to spare, but again, given how the next stuff that we get... Oh, there was a statue. Given how, even in normal shops, we will see extra copies of things spawn in. We don't really have enough money to do that right now, so I'd like to be ready for that. Let's go mini-boss. Voluntarily, it is the dragon.
You Drakens ought to choose wiser alliances.
Yeah. Ooh, hello. Special. Want to just kind of hit and run. Alright, that is not something you can pass right through. That was bad. That was also bad. That was also bad. Okay, now the controller is starting to become very serious all of a sudden. Well, not all of a sudden. It's been an issue for a while now, but that I think is circular attack. That I got hit twice. Wow, that's brutal. Okay, I mean, what do they say about running away from rhinoceri? The point being, don't run straight away from them. Instead, you should run sideways. Eve is now armless, but this was not something that I thought was going to be this much of a problem for us to deal with. We took a ton of damage.
Prefer drakens that cannot fly.
Now, fortunately, that was also the time when this hit, which gave us a little bit of extra healing. And now you will upgrade, what, the size of the cast, I think is what that is? Yes. And you... Dying Wish! Man.
Olympus, I accept this message.
How I wish that Apollo was actually Ares. Okay, we're gonna take this one, I think. Just because, although we want attack and cast boons, we are trying to either have them be Ares, or at least get something Ares related, or ideally, these are either Zeus or Hera.
Right.
But at a certain point, we're not gonna be able to be that picky. Beggars can't be choosers, and we are getting very close to that point already. That did damage us. I thought that maybe we would kill him in time, but it wouldn't. But that is also not a statue that we can invoke. Notably, this is going to be a big problem. I'm amazed that didn't hit us. Please leave us alone so we can try to take these enemies out one at a time. Ideally. One of you. I think we got rid of another. Wait. You really badly? It's you. Oh, that's very nasty. I don't think that actually hit us though. Surprisingly. Okay, so that's not a crazy room. It's a little bit of a tricky room, but I think that's a pretty good indicator of where we stand right now. Yeah, things are starting to get a little dicey without attack or cast boons.
Look upon me.
That face. Yar. Okay, and then we're getting close to maxing out Selene. Do we have any delayed Selene deliveries? No. Given what we just experienced in that room, I do feel like it's not a great time to be testing our build, so I might pass for that reason. Also, like, one more Selene upgrade and we have just about everything that we would be looking for, so I don't know that we're desperate to pick this up. You know what? I'm going to do it anyway. Because then we can skip Selene later on if we'd like. Oh, that seems like a bad thing. Those things that we just saw him have. I'm fairly certain. Also, that is a heat-seeking projectile for 3. Please stop teleporting away right as I'm trying to attack you. That was close. Now we run. Ooh, yep. See that? This guy's a problem. That's what he is. Oh, and he can also magnetize us in. I cannot press the dash button. There we go. That's a nasty combo. A really nasty combo, I can tell you that much. There just aren't very many safe opportunities to attack him. Oh, and then naturally, when I do try to do that, not go according to plan. And wait for him to teleport to us. And this. And I'm gonna run away. Because the timing was not great. So close. Armorless. Get him. Get him. Beat him up. Beat him up. There we go. It can be done. It was worthwhile. Yeah, so now basically what this means is that we do not need to target Selene at all going forward. Now we get bonus damage to Guardians, which is very nice, and then sure, there are a few of these smaller nodes we can pick up. Let's just see. More shine debuff, more power per hit, more power per hit, more shine debuff. I think we go power per hit. Sure. Because the base damage per hit is not very good at the beginning. Okay, let's go here. Take you out. And immediately, these guys showing up. But, excuse me, how are you able to do that when I'm actively attacking you? You should be getting stun locked. I'm hoping that, yeah, this will block. We go around there, though. One moment. Oh, okay, there's a lot more where that guy came from. Like, a whole lot more where that guy came from. Nope, don't do that. Also, don't do that. Don't! I said don't do that, man. It's illegal to do that. I say don't do that. You should know that. Well, that was kind of overly aggressive on my part there. Okay, hold on. As we get some golden urns here. And then Hephaestus.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Okay. We can get his cast. Get more damage to armor with our attack and our special. Start of encounter, get more armor. You know, that would be kind of useful right about now. Punk Soul Brother. Let's... The life is not looking great right now. So it does feel like getting more life could be meaningful. Yeah, I know we have a lot of gold earning, or gold spending potential, really. So there is definitely long-term value from getting more gold here, but I think this might be more necessary at the moment. Not sure it's going to be any of the other guys. Preferable enemies to go after under ideal circumstances. Oh, right, I forgot about our extra armor at the beginning. Probably good. Capitalized on more.
Out of my sight.
Please get by, please. Thank you. Ooh, you can go straight through that. I did not realize that is unfair. Fortunately, we did have enough magic, or rather enough armor that was not a huge deal. Now we've lost it though. Nope, nope, nope. Oh my goodness! Wow, that was brutal. There was a time when these were amongst my least favorite enemies in the game, these guys right here, because they had such a crazy sniping potential. But it's been a while since that's been a problem. We might be able to cheat. Also, we can do this has to be right? Given the quantity of enemies we've seen in this room. So apparently we have not reached the requisite threshold for her to make her appearance. I'm pretty sure that tried to invoke that statue, and nothing happened. Not that it was that helpful at that stage. Would have been earlier on when it would have been most meaningful, but okay, no Athena. We do eventually make our way through there. And now... Okay, I think at this stage, yes, it will be the gold. We could definitely use some full-blown healing at this stage, though, not just the tiny little bit of healing we get from you. Oh!
Our labors never cease.
I was gonna say, it was a little slow-mo there.
Before you're driven back from this mountain like all the rest.
Which was an indicator that something special was gonna happen. Either, at first I was thinking like, yeah, sure, that dragon has armor, But he's not really a mini-boss per se, but he's giving me the look as if he's a mini-boss. See what we can do here. Yeah, he's totally just gonna get all these kills. Not really gonna get any bonus gold here, I don't think. Well, there we go, there's 20. A little bit more. Okay, hold up. This guy, ow. Okay, now, of course, I'm sacrificing our life, potentially, in the name of getting more gold. Which is not necessarily a worthwhile trade. I think we might have just barely gotten that one at the end. I mean, that's 140 gold, which actually does turn out to be quite a bit more than we would have otherwise gotten, so it basically more than makes up for us having skipped the gold room previously. So I do like that a lot. Anything else? Oh, yes. More gold, speaking of which. Okay.
Welcome to your ancestral mountain, sister. Everything you dreamed of? I once yearned to be here too. I got over it.
Okay.
Yet you're still defending this place.
True.
You speak as though you've lost your purpose, but I've seen you fight.
But we've also seen you fight against us as well. But well, I was gonna say, we suspect that he might be one of the people who we need to get to know more for the fate discover, or the fate freeing process. However, that can only happen after we have gotten to the new true ending, so I don't think this is going to help us in that regard.
Purpose. The gods asked the world of me before I could join them here, only to have to defend their honor some more. You'll find your own purpose soon enough.
Well, that does feel like maybe the most we've actually learned of Heracles' opinions about Olympus and whatnot. Okay, is this the penultimate room? I think it is, which means shop or free Zeus boon. Now, Zeus is, possibly outside of Ares, the person who we are most interested in seeing, and the person we've been waiting to get an attack and or cast boon on. So it'd be really nice to get him for that reason. However, if we go to the shop, we also can benefit from travel deal. So I think we kind of do need to do this, and even if it is Zeus who shows up here who we end up buying a boon from, I think it still is nonetheless the right choice. We don't know who it is. It's Hephaestus. Ugh. Gross. Well, remember, there will be likely another boon-giving god or goddess here, so let's take this. And then this one is Zeus. Okay, so yes, obviously this one is going to cost us money, whereas the other one was for free, but we get 2 boons in this case, whereas previously we would have only gotten 1. So let's do this. And now... Ooh. I mean, I'm thinking it's double strike. Both of these. Wait, I'm honestly not sure I realized these were 2 separate boons. I'm not sure I realized these were 2 separate boons. Okay, I mean, obviously they can synergize very well together. But I think we'll take you. And we very much would like to sacrifice Hera boons to power up our Zeus boons. Ideally, we get a Zeus attack alongside that. I don't think this gives us the palm slice effect as well, so I think we're just leaving it here, and then that means we are not that strong going into this Prometheus fight, so I'm not very happy about that. Now, I mean, obviously, a lot of that is of our own doing. We have deliberately skipped attack and or cast boons on many occasions at this point, but we do have enough money that hopefully after this fight, assuming we make it through without blowing through every single Death Defiance and then some, we can purchase something from the mini shop and expedite that delivery and make something else show up after the fact as well with the travel deal. So maybe there we finally get our attack or cast boon, because yeah, on the final floor we definitely need that stuff. But I think we very well may find ourselves using at least 1 Death Defiance here, given how we are already pretty weak.
Typhon climbs the dark side of the mountain even now. Impressive that you cast him down before, but he shall not rest till the palace of Zeus lies in ruin.
He'll be destroyed, you along with him if that's what it takes. If he were truly unstoppable, you wouldn't be impeding my ascent. You're buying him time.
I am. It's strange to think that time can be a limited commodity even for deathless such as we. But no more stalling for now.
Is this a new conversation with Prometheus? It might be. Remember, bird is gonna do its thing. And it wasn't the first bird, it was the second time the bird attacked that it got me. It always gets me at the beginning, one way or another. So the good thing about Prometheus is we can hit him with the special, theoretically, of course, and then just kind of play a hit-and-run playstyle, if necessary. Obviously, ideally, you'd be able to be a little more aggressive than just that, but it's not worth that much. Did amount to some decent damage there. Here, I guess. Hello. Thank you. Yeah, the amount of damage you get from that is pretty nice. Oh, okay, that is bad.
You see.
Waves of
Middle,
flame.
bottom, top. Middle, bottom, ooh, top. Question of whether we were going to be fast enough or not. Ooh, that's a kind of bad place for that. Made it a little bit better, I guess. Not a huge fan of that. Projectile one, and I got it where I did not want to get stuck. What? Heck was that? That, and this, and I will try to hit you with charge special without getting wailed on myself. Here. No, I was so close to dodging out of that. Not quite, though. Whoa, that was like that. Okay, damage is honestly not too bad. Top, middle, middle, bottom, middle. I already forgot what the other ones were. Bottom, bottom? Nope. Now it's bottom. Now it's bottom. No, it's not. Okay, well, you know, middle in the last one. Or not. Well, that's because that was the last one. Yep, that, so, there's, add that to the list of very avoidable mistakes. Shouldn't really be messing that up. Although, as I've said many times before, when it comes to the second round of him doing that, I've so often only just barely remembered what the last few of the ones were. So that time I truly messed it up. Oh, go away, bird. Not fighting. I did not even see that coming. What's that? What is that coming? You see the bird. The bird, unfortunately, does also see me. That should do the trick. There we go. Okay, so yes, we did have to use Death Defiance. Not the way I thought it would have to be used, but
my strength shall return.
Unfortunate.
Did needed to be done.
Just lost track for the memorization part. So hopefully, let's see, get this stuff, of course. We'll heal up from the fountain. That won't be enough for us to get back to max life. Obviously, we have a Death Defiance that is permanently gone unless we theoretically do have enough money to purchase a Kiss of Sticks. So that may even show up from this next mini-shop. Be useful.
Needed that.
Okay. Did need that for sure. Can't change you. Let's see what we get here. So, Mystery Boon, Expedited, and Path of Stars. Well, I do think we expedite this Mystery Boon, and then that will make something else show up. Which depends on what it is. Let's see.
Looking forward to this.
What's going on?
It's Festus. And at this point, I mean, we kind of just have to, right? I mean, at least one of these two things. We can do more damage based on our armor. We get a little bit now. We do always have at least 20 at the start of each encounter. I mean, that probably would have been more meaningful if we had gotten that early on. I think it has to be one of these, though. Let's go with the cast, just because I feel like the attack probably is more important. So, short term, this would be more helpful, but I'm being a bit of an idealist here. It has already come back to bite us to an extent, and it definitely can do so even more on this floor if we do not get a good boon shown up soon, and there are very few boon getting opportunities that still remain. So, it is dangerous. Centaur Heart is what ended up showing up with only 75 gold being the price. That is a pretty good deal. It will not show up until the very end, but I think we still do it. And might even do this as well. It does mean it's going to be hard to purchase things from the super shop at the end, but I think we have to do a little bit of damage control here, given how we got a little too greedy with our build. And then this, yeah, we, for the most part, have all the slingy stuff that we want at this point, so I think we're probably just passing on you. Yeah, there are a few small points we could still get, but I think at that stage we're better off just saving the cash. We do at least have a little bit to work with here. There's a chance we can still afford something from a mini shop if we do get one shown up soon, especially if we see a golden urn or two around here. Though I am not seeing that. The individual enemies on this floor, though, do generally seem to give a whole lot of gold. Okay, and they are more powerful, though, so this could be a problem. It very likely will be, to at least a certain extent. I'm forgetting to get the, hold on. Get the bonus armor at the beginning. Don't do that. Whoa, that's a lot of projectiles. I got hit by one of them. It was gonna happen eventually, I suppose. That while we're at it. The hex while we're at it. These guys also, in particular, for whatever reason, do not like getting... They do not like getting stunned when you're in the process of attacking them. Seemingly more so than any other enemy in the game, and I don't know why that is. But at least on previous runs, I've definitely noticed there have been times when we've been actively attacking those enemies, and you would think that would mean you're safe. They're unarmored at the time, and yet they do not get staggered, or at least they somehow found a way to still get an attack in there. Okay, so after this next room, we will get a tiny bit of healing and some extra levels, so there's that. What is the current upgrade from... Is that Chaos? No. Chaos is doing this, and that is going to change after this room. It is decent, current one. So you are armored. Ow. That shouldn't come as a surprise. Oh, but everyone's dead. Wow.
Must have been my chaos boon just then.
Well, that works. We did take a little bit of damage, or it might have only been to our armor, honestly. Okay, and we take you, and at that point, that means once we walk into this next room, we are just about max life, so that actually worked out quite well. Good example of how even just having 20 armor per room, it, when combined with the Arcana card that gives you 5 healing per room, can functionally add up to a lot of healing. Even when you're taking some damage along the way. Security system. Temporary armor at the beginning of the encounter. Okay. Supernova. That's the extra AoE on the cast, right? I think we'd already upgraded as well. Yeah. Okay. Not great. And now this is where we're definitely skipping you. So we get this. Unless we could potentially use this as a reroll opportunity. So if we want to change the room reward altogether, then we can only do that once, of course. Well, there's only 2 opportunities to do that. There's these 2 doors here, and then next mini-boss fight, there will be 2 doors for that as well. But it seems like we can't change the shop offerings. So if we want to somehow see if we can force Ares to show up at this point, which might actually be impossible, then we can give it a go now. Otherwise, obviously, we could just save it for the super shop at the end, and whatever we purchase, we could just re-roll the boon offerings there. So, I mean, I feel like that might be better, because I don't know what the chances are of us actually managing to land something amazing here. Unless, I mean, we could re-roll this. This is always a backup plan, and regardless of which boon-giving god or goddess this is, we go this route because that becomes an avenue for getting an attack boon, and we just take it no matter what, because we are pretty desperate at this point. Oh, also, what was the chaos boon now? I know you can't see it, but I did just sort of sigh, slouch, shrug my shoulders, shake my head, all the above, because, you know, that's not really the timing that we want for this. If this showed up at the very beginning, that would have been amazing, and we would have benefited a lot from the bonus gold, and, you know, would have paid dividends long-term, even if, obviously, Boon would have changed after the first floor, but, how desperately do we need an attack boon? I mean, I'm just thinking about some of the mini-boss fights, and I think, how much can we get away with spamming special instead? Maybe we still can? Maybe we still can, just with spamming special. Who do we get this time? It's you guys. That might be better for this setup. Usually I prefer the other option. Remember, we do have a bunch of armor at the beginning, so I can just ignore any attempt at being defensive, and then exclusively focus on doing damage, which I did do for a little too long there, but... do that. Oh, that was bad. This, and try to hit you with that, ideally. Excuse me. See that? Honestly, just basic specials might be the answer. Just to get the blitz going. How is that moving? Come on, I know there are targets. Don't lie to me. Yeah, when we can get the blitz to land, it actually does do a lot of damage still. I mean, it's a high rarity, and it has a few levels as well. It's just all the other stuff is pretty lackluster. I'm gonna walk in there. That was great. Perfect. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay, not too bad, honestly. I think that might have been better than the single big dude encounter.
Stay in the ground next
I think
time.
did take... Oh no, honestly didn't take any damage at all besides to our armor. So again, that little bit of armor going a long way. And then here... Oh man. This actually could be really good. Okay, that is significant. The other ones, much less so. Okay. Then... Yeah, this is just a simple room with no reward in it. Also has a few of the types of enemies that we were just encountering. Oh, and also this, of course. Oh, die! Learned that, yes, potentially just cast, or rather, special get you at least break down the armor. Then we bully him. Okay. That. Oh, that's an extra fire boon. I'm not sure that that really matters, to tell you the truth, but alright. That, everything for here and now. Getting a lot of the Tale of Typhon just showing up to pay us a visit, which is a little unfortunate. Happening on. Oh, I did. Yes, that's good. Oh, that's not good. No, don't do that. Not
Alright.
Try not to step on any of those other spikes. Okay, so this is pretty much ideal for us here. I think we really want to see the Zeus attack boon or the duo It allows us to sacrifice Hera and improve the level of our Zeus boons, if in fact that is possible when Zeus is the one giving the boon. I don't remember if it technically is predetermined based on whether it's Hera or Zeus giving you that initial boon. It means we won't use any rerolls here, but we can reroll at least the offerings from a specific god or goddess in the super shop again. Now, who do we get? Okay, this is probably our preference. I mean, generally speaking, that is the case. I don't know if with our specific build that's any different this time around. Can we hook you for the occasional special? Please face the correct direction. Charge. This. Yeah, that does still add up to a decent bit of damage, so that is nice. And be so greedy as to occasionally poke you with the special there. That would be ideal, of course. Gotcha. Once. Yeah, even if the upfront damage is not great, it is. Oh, you are just really resistant. Also a good time to do this, potentially, unless if you're doing the blast and the rock. Nope, it's not. Yes, and probably as well. There you go. Not particularly pleased with me as I almost dashed straight into that. Yeah, that's even bigger than usual. Definitely trying to target the blast, but I'm insisting on it. It's at least basic one. This. There we go. Okay. Don't think we took any damage there. I mean, as I said, that's definitely the second of the 2 second mini bosses on this floor. That is the one that we are the most comfortable with by a pretty wide margin. Shocking loss. Whenever you first deal damage to susceptible foes, you may destroy them outright. We have seen this before, and, well, we've had it activate on basic enemies, yes. I remember questioning whether that's possible for it to activate on the bosses at the end of the floor, or at the end of the entire run, or if the game basically says no, absolutely not. That's coded in such that it cannot ever happen that way. But I mean, just think about how hilarious that would be if we just one-shotted Typhon. So I would love to see that, but this is the thing that we were really looking for, so I think we probably do need to take this. Because, you know, in boss encounters, this is unlikely to be a big difference maker. Sure, it could help for ads, but I think we have to do that.
Thunderous power.
I'm pretty sure that I saw something over here. Yeah.
Dig, please, Hecuba.
Okay, so we're back on full life. We did end up using a Death Defiance in the Prometheus fight. Yeah, it was because I messed up the memory phase, which is unfortunate. Don't feel great about that, but it certainly is still doable with 2 Death Defiances. Obviously, I'd love to see us have all 3 at this stage going into the Typhon fight. Let's see what else we can get here, though. So we had some deliveries that were delayed until this moment right here. I don't remember what those deliveries were. Some more life, some more armor. We don't have that much life until, well, we pick this up. Then we're maybe right around where we'd like to be, ideally a little bit more. That is a Kiss of Styx right there, so that is nice. Remember, though, that what we purchased first, we're potentially going to get an extra copy of. Well, I don't know what's going to happen when we buy you. And the first thing that we get is also slightly discounted, so I think it is going to be Kiss of Styx. So if you don't want it to be you and then to not be able to afford you, let's take this, and it gives us armor in that place. So I think we're going for you, and then, I mean, we can afford this. I guess we'll take... Or no, probably would prefer to take the extra armor, to be honest. We do this.
Hear me, on my authority.
And we can re-roll here if we like. We saw this before, we turned it down. We were saying that especially in big encounters such as this upcoming one, it could be more trouble than it's worth. And then this, with 6 earth boons, is pretty solid, giving us percentage-based damage boosts on both our attack and our special, which are both suddenly... Oh, the special was already very good, as we were saying. The attack is now suddenly quite good, though, so that is quite meaningful. I think we definitely want this, and we just, I guess, won't use our last reroll. Just fine, I mean... Yeah, sure. In that case, in hindsight, we could have rolled slightly more aggressively to try to get Ares to show up, but... Ultimately, it just wasn't going to work out that way, it seems. Okay, so that will be it. And that means that, yes, fortunately, we are back on our full Death Defiance count. So that is helpful. This is not going to do anything else for us. It's going to come down to a combination of the attacks and the specials at this point. Fortunately, they're both pretty good. And then alongside the Hex making us do extra damage with our charge moves when we can use probably more so charge special than charge attack. That could be especially effective here. So just hoping that we can still pull this off with what is a run that is a build that is only just starting to come together. And as I said, I have a creeping fear that the dash button not cooperating could be a pretty big problem in this fight in particular. But here goes nothing. Actually, his name is Typhon. He doesn't like when people refer to him as just monster. Also, we have a ton of armor at the beginning of the encounter that goes away, so I'm going to face tank for the first few seconds. Out of that. Oh, that was going to hit us? If not for the resistance? I don't know about that. Okay, tongue attack. Very early for that. Okay, well that was a fairly quick phase there. That's a good sign. Dodge through that a bit. I did a pretty bad... Oh wow, I did a very bad job with that though. I would imagine that, you know, you probably don't want to hit those guys. That's kind of the whole thing, just to not do that. This. Right top of him when he's doing that. Otherwise here. That was greedy. That was our armor breaking, I think. Oh, okay, I was about to hex him. That's okay, we can save the hex for this. That is adding up to a lot of damage very quickly. Now, we cannot take another ad space, yes. That's another Python tail. And it's about to land right on top of us. Oh, yep, I was going to say, I did not see where the other guy ended up. Ooh, hello. Oh, let's try to move it now. Turning here. Just double. Yes, it is. No. One. Dodge two. Okay. That's important to know that it's much more important to dodge the big tongue attack rather than on me right now. Except he's down. So yeah, turns out high rarity Zeus boons are pretty good. To the surprise of no one.
That was amusing to behold.
And that was the big thing that we were trying to do, was take the Chaos Keepsake for the entire run without changing it, and that should give us at least an achievement, I think a prophecy as well. We were trying to also get what we thought was a duo Zeus, or rather Ares boon alongside this particular hex from this particular weapon aspect, and that didn't end up working out for us, but maybe we can check that one off the list on a future occasion, and I think we did just see the achievement popping up in the bottom right corner there. That is our second successful Typhon defeating run as of this rewinding of the clock.
To all my family on the mountain, let me pass.
There may be some small changes.
That's the sun.
To the conversations that we have here and the other build-up around the surface runs, although, as I was saying in our previous run, the developer said in the patch notes that there really haven't been many changes for the plot on the surface. It's much more so the case for Underworld runs.
Welcome!
We welcome you.
Why, hello there. And it does always feel like surface runs, for whatever reason, whether this is a coincidence or not, I don't know, they're more likely to give us Zeus and Hera boons, and then we run into Zeus and Hera when we get here. So maybe that's just so happens to be the way that it is played out, but maybe there is something to that. I don't know.
We got that monstrous fiend once more, young lady, thanks most certainly to you. Such courage in the face of catastrophe, and our palace remains safe and secure, and further reinforced should Typhon try for us again.
You were splendid, my dear. Had things grown any more dire, we were preparing for a last resort a son of ours developed. But the cost of it is high indeed. Thus, you have saved us in more ways than one.
Yeah, so we had heard about this before. I think that's basically what she was saying last time as well, but we have now learned that that son in question is Hephaestus, who was going to do something to blow up the mountain, basically, and cause a whole bunch of collateral damage, so they didn't want to have to resort to that. Apparently, Athena was going to have something to do with that as well. At one point in time, she had sort of alluded to that, but I think Hephaestus
It's my pleasure
primarily.
to have been of service to our family, Queen Hera, and to see the wonders of these halls once more. Perhaps we may yet permanently dissuade Typhon soon.
And what do you have in mind on that account? Our own research has yet to yield the force that could take Typhon without also taking this entire mountain down. He's even fiercer now than when he first attacked us long ago.
So this was my criticism of the ending, the original ending before. Mostly in the Underworld, but to a certain extent on the surface as well. Was we got to this point where Zeus said, hey, sure, we found a way to defeat Typhon temporarily, but we don't have any breakthroughs when it comes to how we permanently defeat Typhon. So it went from that to almost immediately jumping to, oh, suddenly we have the perfect solution and we're ready to go. And there was very little transition, very little build-up to get to that point, so it just felt very unnatural, felt very forced, very awkward. So I would like for that to be the thing. I hope that that's the thing that they have addressed with the new ending. Again, probably not so much so for the surface runs, but more likely with the Underworld runs.
I've gathered useful specimens of Typhon's flesh, and we've been studying how we can use it in our craft, but we don't yet have meaningful progress to share.
Yeah. So, okay, I guess you could say, and this is, I'm fairly certain exactly what we said before, we know what resources we have at our disposal, these specimens of Typhon's flesh, which is more than nothing. We at least know what we can potentially work with, but having some form of ideation, some brainstorming to say, hey, what if we consider doing this? And then, oh, darn it, that didn't work. Oh, but maybe we try something else. Oh, no, that seems like that's going to work much better. And if you then get your solution to the problem, it's just way easier to buy into that. That's so much more believable.
Oh, come now. Driving back that monster more than once is progress meaningful enough. My lord husband thought that your first such victory could have simply been a fluke.
I remember this as well.
Now, what I said, dear wife, was that a single victory against Typhon did not prove more such victories could be achieved. But now you've demonstrated otherwise, Melinoe, and spurred our hope that we shall rid ourselves of this foul menace soon enough.
King Zeus, Queen Hera, By your leave, I ought return with what I found, in case it leads to new discoveries about how we can do just that. Thank you all for your continued aid.
You have our gratitude in kind.
Alright. And the plot line on the surface does actually progress a lot more quickly than the plot line in the underworld, because you can kind of look at the number of resources you need to finish the 2 big endgame incantations, and the amount of Typhon resources you need is something like only 4, and then it's collectively across the 2, because you actually do need some Chronos resources for the permanent Typhon defeat, and obviously a lot for the permanent Chronos defeat. It takes a whole lot more there. So that's basically your indicator of, okay, this is how many successful runs you need to get to the true ending, and we were wondering if that was exactly the number you needed before you got the true ending for the first go-round, and I think that was the case, so that's very likely also the case this time around as well. I think I did read that they actually made it take more more resources and more successful runs, that means, to get to that true ending this time round, the second iteration of the true ending. So that theoretically gives them more time to do that build-up. So I guess I don't know if that means they basically just exclusively added 2, or however many, let's call it 2, additional runs worth of dialogue that just did not exist at all before, and sort of sandwiched them into the plot progression, and that's how they expanded upon the new ending, or if they actually sort of retroactively changed some of the pre-existing conversations and added to them, or just changed them altogether. So yeah, obviously we have not yet done any Underworld runs as of this activation of the new true ending stuff, so we'll have to pay close attention to that.
It's good to see you again, cousin. Just as I was beginning to fear my song would be tonight's sole source of cheer.
I remember that line as well.
Lord Apollo, good to see you too. Please give my regards to the others. I would have liked to meet, but I'd best be getting back.
Of course, you must be on your last legs. The others surely would have liked to see you too, especially your grandmother, but they couldn't leave their posts. Please accept our apologies, and let us help you to return.
Tell Lady Demeter and everyone I wish them well.
Thank you, Apollo. Let's head on
Goodbye
back.
for now, everyone. May you be safe and well when next we meet. Return to Shadow now.
So that was the other thing that I was saying in our previous run, was that I would have liked if there continued to be dialogues that we have whenever we use that boon that sends us back here, because that's just such an interesting idea to sort of reverse the whole boon giving process, and it just felt like it was not fully explored when there was only one, or I guess you could call that a second instance of us doing something with the boon. I mean, the first time you're actually speaking to Hecate directly, and that's also an opportunity to, as I was just saying, brainstorm a bit, bounce some ideas off of Hecate and see if she has any inspiration that could help us find that breakthrough that we're looking for. But, I mean, maybe they've added some more of those that we'll see on subsequent surface runs, but I am not so sure, because thus far it seems like most of that stuff has been, as we, in many ways, expected, more or less exactly the same.
Mwah! We beat the father of all monsters, Phrynos.
Might remember that one as well, because I'm pretty sure I made some comment, because I was just thinking of it this time as well. You know, is he going to turn into a prince?
Did you do it?
He did not turn into a prince. We also cannot brood. We also cannot have any special conversations with Dora, only decorate.
As fate would have it.
Insert Jay-Z quote here. So this is the big one that we were working toward. Born to Win is now done.
Whatever pact you formed with Chaos shall be sealed.
And then this one, well, that's, I mean, something we were looking for, yes, but we don't have direct control over it. This is the defeat all of the mini-bosses on the surface. And that gives us a lot of moon dust, and we are gonna need a fair bit more of that soon, so timing is good. What do you have to say, though?
I wonder, did the weavings of the fates foretell that I would knock the father of all monsters down the mountain last night? He didn't see it coming, at least.
No, not as such. The weavings of the fates tend not to be precise in their detail, which I know can make them a bit confounding. But I salute your victory, Princess. I'd like to think that I foretold it.
even if the Fates did not.
You knew I'd vanquish Typhon.
I had a feeling.
What's all the commotion?
I'll just clean this up.
Indeed.
They're saying you beat Typhon single-handedly last night? One step closer to putting everything back to normal, huh?
I did not beat Typhon single-handedly, but we managed to defeat him, yes. Though I don't think you need to fear a return to normalcy anytime soon.
Yeah, I remember this conversation because we were saying, like, well, single-handedly, kinda, sorta. We were the ones doing the direct fighting, although we did have the assistance of many gods and goddesses.
I know you're trying to reassure me, but I can't help the way I feel. I ought to be enjoying all this while it lasts. The future might be boring as dirt, but right now, things are okay.
Things are not okay.
Yeah, and I remember that as well, because that's, I mean, it makes sense, coming from Strife Incarnate, that you would feel that way. Don't think there's anything special for us to do there right now.
You're here, Lord Charon.
Hello, Charon. Hello, Charon's shipment. Sorry, Charon. It's not like we care more about the shipment than we care about you yourself, but that may actually be the case. Beside that, we could potentially get more Nightmare here, although as I think I was saying earlier, we're getting close to the point where we have all the Nightmare that we need, at least for maxing out our weapon aspects. There are a few that are not quite there yet. We might still benefit from this. There were also some alternate skins for the familiars, at least one of which used Nightmare. Was that the one that each of the familiars had a form that cost Nightmare? That might have been the case, in which case we actually would need a somewhat significant amount just for that alone. So I think we probably do still go with this next, although it is tempting to get a sizable chunk of moon dust
Shouldn't be
from
too
those
long.
shipments as well, although we could always just instead opt for the moon dust through direct purchases here. Did we pick up any fish? We did not. Wow. Okay. Let's see.
Successive victories.
I don't really know that there's that much for us to do here at the moment. We're waiting until I think we get to the true ending before we can access this again. So that's unfortunate. That's on hold. And so yeah, we need 2 more surface runs theoretically before we get the setup for the permanent Typhon defeating. And I mean, that means the plot progression has to happen pretty quickly on the surface for that reason. It's also 1 Zodiac Sand for that, and it's 7 here. So that's what? 8 Zodiac Sand, 4 Void lenses in total, so 12 total. I think it used to be 10 total runs that you had to finish before, and then obviously the bonus, the mystery resources that we now know about as well. So yeah, I think it used to be 10. So 2 more additional runs that you need to get to the new true ending. So yeah, that's where I was coming from when I said maybe they basically just sandwiched in a few other 2 other conversations with Kronos and other people that make the transition toward that final confrontation feel a little more natural. But that is all stuff for the future. We no longer need to do this, which is very nice. So theoretically, we could start turning our attention toward, ooh, yeah, doing this. This would actually be very nice. Give us an alternative source of that crafting resource, and not that much of an opportunity cost right now, because as we were just saying, we don't really have anything else that we need to use for incantations at the moment.
Dissolution of time. Disintegration of monstrosity. Connected incantations, negating that which has already come to pass. And violently, terrible use of our craft.
It is. You always said such power ought never to be used, save when no other possibility avails itself. Perhaps not even then. How did you discover such incantations? You practically know more of Kronos than he does himself.
And see, this is also sort of the problem that I was referring to. Yes, we're talking about how Hecate reached these conclusions, how Hecate made these discoveries, but we were not at all involved in the discovery process. We just show up and suddenly Hecate has the answer. And that's a problem with plot progression, because it just feels like it came out of nowhere. Even if we're doing a little bit of easing into it here, it's still, don't think that's the way that you ought to approach this.
When I learned of what Kronos had done to you and the rest, I refused to accept it, but I studied him nevertheless. Power always contains the secrets of its own undoing.
That, and also just the fact that it is Hecate who is coming up with the solution, and it's not directly based on our involvement at all. Like, it'd be one thing if, through our conversation with Hecate in real time makes that discovery right in front of us, but it's almost like we were off doing our previous run, and then while we're in the temple of Zeus, we just get a phone call from Hecate. She's like, oh hey Melinoe, by the way, I figured out how to defeat all the final enemies. Come back so we can talk more. It's like, well, excuse me, so you mean all the important things actually happened while we were away? Generally, you want the main character to be the key driver of those sorts of discoveries, of that progress, and we're dancing around that because we're getting the resources for it, but Hecate is the one who's actually coming up with the solution. So that, I think, is a mistake, writing-wise.
Even his and Typhon's.
Even his and Typhon's.
Because it just makes it feel like Melinoe is not as much so the key driver that is creating those solutions, and as a player, that makes it feel like, you know, what I'm doing is not as impactful, not as significant.
Oh, look. Really must be making Typhon mad. What's the plan there besides that? Get so caught up in all the glory that you lose sight of our real enemy?
The father of all monsters represents an urgent threat. You'd know it if you saw him for yourself. If Olympus is laid to ruin, Kronos prevails. We wouldn't be able to stop him.
Speak for yourself. The underworld never needed any of those gods. Kronos wouldn't even be here if not for them.
Thank the fates we have you to deal with him.
Thank the fates.
Don't remember if we've heard that conversation already.
So there you were, alone atop the rain-soaked mountain, when out of the dark came a roar so deafening it shook Olympus to its roots. And with it came Typhon himself, more vengeful even than before. What then, goddess?
We fought. I prevailed. Oh, blast. I was supposed to weave a yarn. He kept trying to crush me with his chin, but I evaded and clambered to the top of his head, where I drove the sister blades Lim and Oros into his brain.
We weren't using the blades this time around, right? No, we were not. I think this is a new conversation. I don't think we had heard this before, but that's also just not accurate, which is kind of immersion breaking, so to speak.
Oh, quite gruesome at the end there, I like it. My only criticism, if I may, is that all too many tales involving huge monstrosities resolve that way. What if he were to swallow you whole, only for you to cut yourself out of his gullet?
That's, you know, maybe a little too similar to what happened with Kronos originally.
I was just getting to that part.
Yeah, I don't think I remember that one. I mean, outside of how it was actually incorrect, it was cool. Okay, we do have some stuff to plant here. Oh,
live and thrive.
Much more important
I'll watch that
things to plant than that.
Grow and flourish.
There we are. Okay. This guy's up to... Oh.
Grow strong, all right?
Not what I meant to do. This is what I meant to do.
Moonlight guide us.
We stand ready to die for you, princess. Again. Dying wish immortality. I don't think you can die for us if you were immortal. At least, well, I mean, I suppose we do see a lot of immortals kind of sort of die in Hades. In a way. Alright. So there we go. another successful run, getting us closer to getting the new true ending, at least certainly on the surface side. We also did finish one of the key prophecies, the big one with Chaos, and a smaller one with the mini-bosses. And we also saw the new character skins for the familiars and tried out at least one of them, so we can explore a little bit more with that stuff in the future, as there may be another achievement that we can potentially pick up along those lines. But that is it for this run, so thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.